Hello and welcome back to live coverage of the Apex Gaming $5,000 Modern Open here at Apex Con in sunny Caldwell, Ohio. I'm Todd Tandy Anderson, joined by Ross Merriam. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
We got 5 rounds down, 2 more Swiss and the top 8 left to bring you. We've had some really sweet magic so far. Modern Horizons 3 looks like it's a very powerful set with a huge influence on the format, including Nadu, one we haven't seen that much today, but it's been making waves.
Yeah, so the no copies of Nadu in the 5-0 bracket. We do have several battling out this round in 4-1. We're going to be looking at some other decks, though, starting with a very interesting one making it a deep run in the tournament. That is Max Hirsch on Mono White Death and Taxes. He's going to be playing the first feature match here in round 6. A very cool list. Doesn't have the same sort of mana denial package that you have historically seen from these decks. Is instead going for more of a value blink package with Philia and Recruiter of the Guard. Has one Flicker Wisp defined. Can even, blink Witch Enchanter when you play it as a land and return it as an additional creature.
It's actually pronounced Disenchanter.
Then you have White Orchid Phantom, so a little bit of ways to interact with the mana base, but White Orchid Phantom can also just destroy your own flagstones if you're here and ramp you. And then, of course, Stoneforge Mystic as your main threat with a Batterskull, a Calder Complete, and a Maul of the Skyclaves to find 4 copies of Ephemerate as the only non-creature spells. So really a very different take on Death and Taxes, but one that I like. I've always found the Lean and Arbiter, packages to be really flimsy. If you get it going, it looks really good, but it's so easy to disrupt. And if you just don't find the Lean and Arbiter, then all those Field of Runes and Ghost Quarters look pretty weak. This is a version of the deck that can really stand up to the heavy removal that people are playing in the energy decks and still apply a good amount of pressure, and then has Solitude to interact.
Yeah, really cool deck. I'm a big fan of Recruiter of the Guard, and with Ophelia, you just keep finding more and more things that just disrupt your opponent, from Solitude to these powerful creatures that have disruptive capabilities.
Yeah, I think every creature in the deck looks like is a legal target for Recruiter of the Guard. So you can find Removal of Solitude, you can find Stoneforge Mystic for a threat, you can find Philia if you need to start flickering. He's got 1 Charming Prince, 1 Flicker Wisp, 1 Skykill Apparition as singletons. Looks like a very well thought out deck list.
All right, other side of the table is Fumich. Fumich is someone who we see quite a bit here on the Apex series. What's he playing?
Playing Esper Goryos, one of our more popular decks in the room today. 7 copies. I think that puts it about 4th or 5th. Most popular. And yeah, a pretty stock list here has the Psychic Frogs.
Nice.
As an additional threat. But still playing Tainted Indulgence, so still playing Philology Archaeologist. Really going to be able to tear through the deck and hopefully put some of these big creatures onto the battlefield. And Hirsch probably going to need to apply a lot of pressure in this matchup to come out ahead, and then we'll see what kind of graveyard hate he has in the sideboard before game 2.
Alrighty, well, the players are already in the feature match area, so without further ado, let's head on down there and watch the 2 players duke it out. We got Death and Taxes. We got Esper Goryos. That's Fumich on your right playing the Esper Goryo. We are about to be underway. Turn 1, Hedge Maze. Puts a Philology into the graveyard with the Surveil. Turn 1, Ether Vial for Max. That's a pretty good start.
Has the Vial and is playing the Odyssey Thundercloud Plains. Just a gentleman's choice of basic.
Top 3 with Philology. Mills over, attracts, and puts in the grave, finds Tainted Indulgence. Fumich well on his way to reanimating a big boy. Vial up to 1. Hirsch draws Charming Prince.
It's a natural basic drawn from Fumich. He played on turn 2, so the White Orchid Phantoms could end up playing a big role here. There's only 3 basics in the deck for Fumich. 1 of each of the Esper lands.
Looks like Hirsch's hand all 2 drops. Does have one of those phantoms. Let's see if he wants to go after the green source. It's funny, if he hits this land, he actually gives Fumich access to black mana, which I don't know that he had. And this can unlock Goryo's Vengeance. Perhaps a huge misstep here for Max Hirsch. I would have liked to maybe blown up the plains.
Only destroys non-basics.
Okay, I would have liked to maybe played a different card.
There's still 4 Ghost Quarters in the deck and a Field of Ruin. So...
I'm sorry, you think you're untapping?
I mean, I don't know. Is there Goryo's Vengeance?
Yeah.
Okay, we're dead.
Goryo's Vengeance, targeting Atraxa, the Grand Unifier. Let's get Atraxa on the screen. So Goryo's Vengeance, 2-cost instant, returns a legendary creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with haste, exiled during the end step. Atraxa, reveal the top 10. Put a card of each card type from those 10 into your hand. The rest go on the bottom in a random order.
So 10 get revealed. I see 2 Atraxas, a Psychic Frog, a Polluted Delta, 2 Goryo's Vengeances, 2 other lands, Strand, and I think another Delta.
Actually.
A Priest of Fellrights, and I'm not sure what that bottom card is, but looks like we're just getting second Goryo's, a land, and a Psychic Frog. Only 3 cards.
Yeah, but we get to swang in for 7, deal 7, and we drew 3, so maybe we get to do it all again next turn. We did find a land. We will be playing that land. If we have an Ephemerate here, we can also blink and target the Atraxa with Ephemerate, so it sticks around even through the Goryo's Vengeance trigger. We're fetching pretty quick here, so we might already have it.
And could have that, could have Prismatic Ending for the Vial, could have a Thoughtseize.
Fetches another non-blue source here.
Now thinking better of it, says maybe I want to get a Watery Grave or a Hallowed Fountain.
Yeah, if it's Hallowed Fountain, that means it's still either Prismatic Ending or Ephemerate. We'll see in just a moment which one it is. I think if it's Ephemerate, the game's actually over. And if it's Prismatic Ending, it's a very, very tough road for Max. Sheesh! Alright, top 10. And we get to do it again next turn if there's nothing to do with it. That should be exiled.
And Grief, Solitude, Tainted Indulgence, Gristlebrand, Polluted Delta, Goryo's Vengeance, Ephemerate, Grief, Prismatic Ending, and Flooded Strand. So, going to be able to take land, instant, sorcery, creature off of this trigger and get 4 more cards.
Yeah, I think the most important thing, though, is that the Atraxa just sticks around.
Yeah. The fact that the Ephemerate resolved says that Hirsch does not have a Solitude in hand.
I believe Fumage actually has the Force of Negation in hand as well, so it's really tough stuff here. Max just getting punished for the Orchid.
So 2 Recruiter of the Guards, the Charming Prince, and Ophelia in hand here for Hirsch after vialing in the Giver of Runes in response to this grief. And so in 2 turns, or if Hirsch draws a land here, we can Recruiter for a Solitude. But Fumage just has a gigantic hand at this point.
While they're doing the Judge Call, can you inform them of the Ephemerate that's not in the correct zone? Just while they're doing this. I'm not sure if it needs to stay in that zone or if it needs to be exiled. Because it's not a missed trigger.
Yeah, it should be exiled as it resolves. That's a rule of Rebound.
Alright. So this grief is resolving. Alright, looks like we got everything fixed up. So here comes Grief resolving. We got 2 Recruiters, a Charming Prince, and a Ophelia being revealed. The Grief will go to the graveyard after this. This is being evoked.
And Lex to go for the Charming Prince.
I guess it's the most unique of the bunch since it has an immediate effect next turn, perhaps. And you can't steal both Recruiters. Finds Ghost Quarter.
So 3rd land means you can hardcast Recruiter for a Solitude, pitch one of the other 2 cards to evoke it, and deal with the Atraxa.
Yeah, and then you can maybe also do something with Ether Vial.
But you also, Fumage just discarded an Atraxa to hand size, and you know he has another Goryo's in hand. So
you're dead. So you're dead.
Yeah. And Hirsch agrees.
All right, packs it in. Jacob Fumage takes game number 1 in explosive fashion.
Yeah, Hirsch took a risk there that there was no Goryo's Vengeance in hand. And had there not been and he had a little time to set up, it might have been able to keep blinking the White Orchid Phantom, use the Ghost Quarter that he drew, and really mess with Fumich's mana. But sometimes they have it, and then you die.
Yeah, the Goryo's Vengeance deck is quite powerful and has only really been popping up in heavy numbers over the last 6 months or so. It's been one of the ways that most of these people attack the Cascade decks. The Violent Outburst stuff wasn't that big of a deal. The Leyline of the Guild Pack Draco wasn't a big deal. We're able to overcome that by just doing something much more powerful. But out of the sideboard, this mono white deck from Hirsch has to have some answers for these large creatures and this graveyard. Why don't you tell me about them, Ross?
Yeah, certainly has some good graveyard hate here, primarily Sanctifier and Vec. Notably, all the creatures that you're trying to Goryo's Vengeance in this Fumich's list are black. So 3 copies of Sanctifier and Vec. Also has 1 copy of Lion Sash that can be searched for with both Stoneforge Mystic and Recruiter of the Guard.
Nice.
So a lot of access to that singleton, and that'll be a nice way to stop Goryo's as well. The rest of the sideboard, 1 Aethersworn Canonist, 1 Leonin Relic Warder, 1 Lauren of the Third Path, 1 Skyclave Apparition to supplement 1 in the main, 2 Sun Cleanser, 3 Suppression Field, and 2 Wrath of the Skies. I don't like really anything else. Maybe you want Suppression Field on the play against a deck that plays a lot of fetch lands and is relatively low in land count. The activated ability can also be annoying for Priest of Fellrights and Psychic Frog, so it's not just fetch lands, but generally a pretty weak card to bring in, especially when it messes with your own Ether Vials and Givers of Runes.
All right, on the other side of the table, Fumich is up a game with Esper Goryo, but he's got to have something here for this White Weenie deck. Tell me about it.
His sideboard is 2 Celestial Purge, 3 Consign to Memory, 2 Force of Negation, 2 Nile Spellbomb, 1 Subtlety, 2 Teferi Time Raveler, and the heavy hitter here, 3 copies of Wrath of the Skies. No other energy cards, but apparently it's good enough.
Well, I think a lot of people play it very similarly to how you would play Engineer Explosives or Dress Down, where it's primarily there to deal with Urza's Saga. The fact that it cleans up the Urza Saga as well as the tokens for just white, I think it's a pretty big deal. And for 1 more mana, you get all the 1-drops swept up in there as well, so you can bring it in against like elves or other types of decks that just explode in ones.
And here it cleans up Ether Vials. You're likely casting it for X equals 2 most of the time. Should be quite strong.
4 mana is a lot for it. I wouldn't be, super surprised to see it stay on the bench, but I wouldn't also sweat if I saw it in the hand. Looks like players here are ready for game number 2, and we're underway. Max Hirsch leads with Turn on Ether Vial again. Let's see if it's good enough for getting the job done this time. Another Hedge Maze as well.
I've got deja vu.
Mirror match. Oh! Big man in the graveyard right off the bat. Gristlebrand went from the Hell Vault to the Hell Yeah.
Now, does Hirsch have the turn 2 Sanctifier? I don't see it. There's Lion Sash, which is a little slow. Is there a Goryo's Vengeance in Fumich's hand? I see Tainted Indulgence. I see Solitude.
Grief.
Yeah, I think it's Grief Ephemerate draw for Fumich. So Hirsch will have a little bit of time.
Did we have Grief Scam and chose not to? Grief Ephemerate? Do we not have another black card? We do have a Tainted Indulgence. Maybe just values that Tainted Indulgence super highly?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. All right. Witch Enchanter can be played as the land side.
Witch of Blessed Meadow.
Witch Blessed Meadow. Good to know. Gonna pass back. Fumich draws another land. I don't think he's got Goryo's, but let's see if he wants to go for a Grief Scam.
What is Hirsch holding up here? He has Lion Sash. Oh, he's playing Philia as a flash. Okay.
Yeah. And now he can play Lion Sash off of Vial with mana to eat the graveyard.
Yeah, and he can play Stoneforge Mystic here, attack with Philia, blink Stoneforge Mystic, get 2 equipment this turn. Still leave a mana up, have the Vial on 2, can Vial in Lion Sash, and exile a creature in response to a Goryo's Vengeance. So, yeah, very nice sequencing here in the early turns from Max Hirsch.
Hirsch plays Ghost Quarter. Gonna go ahead and cast Stoneforge Mystic. See if Fumich wants to respond. Does not. Let's go digging. Maybe Cauldron Complete. Yeah,
it is Cauldron Complete.
They really should have made like Tormod's Helmet. It's just a little 1/1 guy that costs 0, and it's got sack Tormod's crypt ability on it. Mm.
So you're just gonna have a power creep out Memnite from every format?
Of course. They already did it to my man Mirror Enforcer.
That'd be really awkward to have that on a creature because you can't use it immediately. Summoning Sickness.
Yeah. Alright, so you know how Mirror Enforcer is like incredible? It's like an incredible magic card.
Yeah.
But they banned all the cards that made it good.
Yeah, and then they printed 2 strictly better Mirror Enforcers.
2 strictly better Mirror Enforcers. You know how mad that makes me? Not that mad, but pretty mad.
Yeah, it seems like it makes you pretty mad because you're bringing it up now when it's completely unrelated to the game
You
we're
were
watching.
talking about pricing out artifact creatures that cost 0, okay? Extremely relevant. So Unfortunate Mystic gets another equipment. Or did it?
It did.
What's the other equipment? Anyway, here's Solitude.
Okay, so Fumich likely going for an Ephemerate on this Solitude to clean up the battlefield.
Maybe we're doing this with the affiliate trigger on the stack targeting?
Fumich is already untapped.
I don't think so. I think I don't know. He fed shocked. I knew the Lion Sash was already there. Okay, Solitude,
Yeah,
Ephemerate.
Looks like it was what you were right. It was in response to the Ophelia.
And what white card did we exile? The Wrath of the Skies. Okay.
Yeah, Solitude Ephemerate's already a sweeper.
All right, now Max can't really play another creature here, or else it gets blasted by Ephemerate Solitude.
Yeah, this is just going to be a pass.
Okay, and we're going to leave that Ephemerate in exile. Draws another fetch land. We're going to be using those to find Surveil lands, to dig on the top of the deck. Solitude going to get in there for 3. Live total swap, 20 to 17.
It's a very fair game so far from Fumich, but Hirsch has had, because of that turn on Surveil, Hirsch has had to respect Goryo's Vengeance. If the Gristlebrand wasn't there, Hirsch likely could have played quite differently.
Hirsch with a bit of a gamble here, going end of turn, Vial in the Lion Sash. In response to Vial, Fumich could have played Goryo's if he had it. Didn't have it. And then Hirsch didn't eat on end step for similar reasons, because if he goes to eat, Fumich can reanimate with Goryo's. Untapping allows him to potentially activate multiple times and then not have to worry about the Gristlebrand coming back anymore.
Vial stays at 2.
Yeah, Witch Enchanter going to become the land again. Going to shock for 3. Eat the Gristlebrand, put a counter on the Lion Sash. And attack for 2. Attack for 3. Scavenging Ooze Impression. And now Fumich going to go fetching. I think he's got Tainted Indulgence. I would love with the Surveil trigger on the stack to cast Tainted Indulgence. That's a trick we saw Javier Dominguez do quite a few times at the Pro Tour with various card draw effects in the Surveil lands. And it's not something I've seen many other players do.
Yeah, you want to Surveil at the end when you have a fresh top of the library rather than leaving a card on top potentially and then archiving or then indulgencing into a card you've already seen.
Yeah, but if you pull it from the deck and then put the trigger on the second draw, you also don't accidentally draw it off of your draw.
Yes, exactly. Get the best of both worlds by being a little tricksy.
Okay, draw 2, discard. Sash is still up, though, with white mana, so not really doing much there. And now with the shields down, if I'm Hirsch, I eat it now.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, Fumich has something like Psychic Frog or Indulgence, plus land 4, plus big threat, plus Goryo's Vengeance. You can go score to your own land, get another untapped plains, and still break that up.
Right. 3-point attack comes across. Hirsch down to 11. Fumich going to go back up to 19. And passing of the turn. Does have another Ephemerate, which we can use on Solitude to eat this Lion Sash.
But it looks like Hirsch also has a Solitude in hand, so he can interrupt that. Kind of want to play land 5. Another one of those gorgeous Odyssey plains.
Big swing. Fumich here. Gonna bite. Could have done this at multiple points before now, and is gonna get extremely punished for doing it right now. Your Solitude in response to your Solitude.
And basically giving Hirsch a free card by not forcing 2 free cards by not forcing him to evoke the Solitude.
All right. In response,
goes for an Indulgence. Might find another Ephemerate here.
Finds Goryo. Do we have another big thing to pitch? No, but we do find, like you said, another Ephemerate. Discard Plains. Or discard Floodstram. We're going to go fetching. Alright, so this other Solitude is in play now. And so fetching Plains here for Ephemerate is going to allow him to break this up pretty well.
Yeah, I can play the second Ephemerate, exile the Lion Sash, then on rebound, blink your Solitude, exile the opposing Solitude. First, going to go up to 15 from Solitude exiling Lion Sash.
And now it should go to the graveyard because it's countered on res.
Yeah. Only 2 cards left for Hirsch.
Yeah, Fumich doesn't have a ton in the tank. Nothing big in the graveyard.
Okay. Rebound Ephemerate, exile Solitude. Hirsch back up to 18. Let's grief you.
Yeah, takes the Cauldron complete.
Leaves a
Witch
Stalker. Witch Enchanter, yeah.
It's like a dismembered joke. It's Witch Enchanter, Disenchanter. A straight from...
Okay. 4 mana 2/2, no other text.
Yeah. It's got other text. Just not relevant for this game. Here's a Giver of Runes. And now we got 2 Evoke Elementals versus Giver of Runes and a 2/2 Witch Enchanter. It does trade with Solitude, which is nice. Can maybe double block a Grief. Not as nice.
Yeah, I'm more inclined to double block Grief if I'm trading there. But ooh, another Ephemerate from Fumich.
All right.
Fumich could have attacked first there. If Hirsch double blocks the Grief, you get the Giver of Runes for your trouble. And if he blocks a Solitude, it's the same thing. And if he doesn't block, you just get 3 damage and 3 life out of it. So would have liked to see an attack first.
Second Giver of Runes.
So that one's summoning sick. So you want to exile the one that isn't summoning sick because it can't protect itself.
Yep. Draws another land. Do we have another Surveil land to go grab?
There's 4 in Fumich's list. All the Esper ones and the Hedge Maze that you see on the battlefield.
Ooh, Stoneforge Mystic, big pickup.
So
I wonder if he's got something else besides Cauldron to go get.
Find Batterskull. We can Violet in, find Batterskull, cast Batterskull.
Well, the way he's picking through his exile, I wonder if he sided out Batterskull.
Also has a Maul of the Skyclaves in the deck.
Decides to just pass the turn. So, gonna look to Violet in, but maybe he doesn't have the Batterskull to play. Your Shadowy Backstreet, gonna get the Surveil.
So, Fumich can find another way to put a creature in the graveyard. Really just like another Solitude would be great too.
What about Hallowed Fountain? Swing for 6.
That's less great.
Well, Hirsch here can put in the Stoneforge and then double block Grief. And with the Giver of Runes active, I think that's a fine play. We're going to go Stoneforge Mysticking. Do we have anything? Why did we not main phase that Batterskull? We could have Baneslayer Angel in play right now.
Yeah, I guess this way you leave up the 3 mana to rebuy it if you've used Stoneforge to put it on the battlefield, but there's no artifact removal in Fumich's list.
Yeah, but maybe there's potential for force negation. You just don't want to have Batterskull get countered in any way.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like this peel.
That is a good one. Sanctifier and Vec will insulate Hirsch from any potential Goryo's Vengeance shenanigans.
Yep. Not sure why we didn't vial that in, but okay. Maybe afraid of Ephemerate in response on the Grief, but I think all 4 Ephemerates are gone. Anyway.
A couple good top decks from Hirsch, and I think he's now in the driver's seat.
Oh, yeah. No one ever beats Batterskull.
Okay. It's not 2011 anymore, Todd.
What? Here's Prismatic Ending going after the Giver of Runes. If we try to go for Stoneforge for a Batterskull in response, Fumage could have Ephemerate to blink the Grief and get the Batterskull, which I think Max was thinking about, but says you probably don't have it.
Yeah, Fumage can no longer attack, and now...
There's my boy BBD.
Yeah, he's ready to run roughshod over this battlefield.
Alright, do we put it on the creature with protection from black? Or do we just send with a 4/4 Vig?
I'm inclined to send.
Oh, yeah.
If you throw away the Germ, you make Solitude a really painful draw.
I'm teching with the Sanctifier and Vec as well. If another Solitude's coming down, it's probably going to eat that anyway. Instead of the Germ. Here's Flagstones. You can use Ghost Quarter on that to thin the deck some, get a couple planes out. It's better than nothing, I suppose. A white card drawn, unsure what it is. Maybe
another Prismatic Ending.
It's a good answer to the Sanctifier.
And that's where Fumage will target it.
Alright. Here we go. 2 lands out the deck.
Yeah,
Need to draw Recruiter of the Guard would be a real nice pickup.
Yeah, let's get more of these planes on the battlefield.
Alright, Ross, how long has Recruiter of the Guard been in Modern?
It was in a Standard Legal set, wasn't it?
I don't know, you tell me.
Oh, it's been around for like a year.
I just got reprinted.
Did it? Was it an
Yeah.
MH3?
The red one was one that they...
Yeah, Imperial Recruiter was an
shifted.
MH2.
Yeah. Recruiter of the Guard was from one of the commander sets, probably. I don't remember. Here's Ether Vial. It's a nice one for this White Weenie deck, though. Nice one for Ether Vial fans.
Fumage here flooding out.
Yeah. Turns out your deck is a bit worse when you don't put Atraxa into play on turn 3 every
Although, at this point, Fumage can just top deck Atraxa or Gristlebrand.
That's true. Has Goryo's in hand, so if he sees it on top, can choose to either do it during the instep or hard cast.
And fetch for a Meticulous Archive. Fumage down to 7, so he's got a few more draw steps to find some gas.
Yeah, and he's got plenty of chump block equity as well. Meticulous Archive looks. Land goes to the graveyard. Whoop! That's a Tainted Indulgence. Let's go.
Is this going to be a discardy Tainted Indulgence, or... Oh, we can't tap planes for that.
Ooh.
Buddy.
So close. So close. Oh my god. He has so much mana. Why are you doing this to me, Fumage? Alright. Need intervention here, I think.
Director.
He just
tap
didn't
planes
tap
for
his
Tainted Indulgence.
lands right, and everyone Twitch chat's gonna be like, "He doesn't do it right."
Looks like... Yeah, it does have to discard Psychic Frog.
Yeah, has a million lands. They all tap for blue and black, except for the ones he tapped. Alright, discards a Psychic Frog, so now we can Philology, and we can maybe mill over one of our big baddies. Important to note, all the Ephemerates are gone, so we won't be able to keep that big baddie in play. Mills over 3, and none of them are good Goryo's targets, but we did find Wrath of the Skies. Next turn we can use that to blow up everything. Good thing about Batterskull, though.
Could just cast over X equals 2 right now. Because that would then force Hirsch to recast the Batterskull on his own turn. You would lose Archaeologist, but Hirsch would lose Germ, Stoneforge Mystic, and both Vials. Fumage declines to make that play, and might get paid off here because I bet this Sanctifier will enter the battlefield. Plus, Fumich can just chump block this turn with the Archaeologist, so he gives Hirsch 4 life that's mostly irrelevant over the texture of this game, and could potentially tag an extra creature with the Wrath next turn. Looks like he will get to do so. Hirsch can also just wait and vial the Sanctifier in at any relevant time. Yeah, so Fumich not going to get an extra creature.
Can you get Wrathless guys on screen? I want to see if it doesn't hit Vial for some reason. I think it hits artifacts, enchantments, and creatures.
Yeah, I believe so.
Nice. All right. So Fumich here, lining up. Looks like X equals 2. Finds a Solitude as well. Nice pickup. Now Hirsch, tough decision here. Just gonna let everything get blown up and then rebuy the Batter Skull to hand and then cast it next turn.
Yep.
All right, Fumich. Get him in there. Attack for 6. Bang. Gain 3 up to 10.
Hirsch down to 19.
Batter Skull back. Draws for turn. Flagstone's the draw. Both players here flooding out pretty hard. Make a germ. BBD back online.
Now let's get the Sanctifier down.
Yep. Black cards in the grave get exiled.
Get those Psychic Frogs out of here.
See ya. Hypnotoad.
There's a Solitude in hand for Fumich, so that'll deal with the Sanctifier, but he's got to find some oh, that's
oh yeah.
That's an Atraxa.
Who needs to put it into the graveyard? Not this guy with his hedge maze. If I'm Max Hirsch, I'm maybe kicking myself, not once, but twice. You had the chance to stop him. Hedge maze sitting in play, and now we can hard cast our Atraxa. Top 10 coming. 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I'd probably just put another Atraxa in my hand.
Oh,
what
yeah.
do you think?
100%.
Yeah.
Don't care about anything else. As long as I have Atraxa, I'm not losing.
I'd probably not take land also because it goes back into the deck, and you're just pretty low on cards in the deck.
No, you don't. Why would you don't need a Grief?
Yeah.
That's the last card you need. And I guess as long as the other Atraxa is back in your deck, you. I don't even know if Fumich has a land he can fetch forward that Marsh Flats. Deck has 10 fetchables. He has 8 of them in play. Not sure if he's milled over any with Phlogy Archaeologists.
It's none of my business. A year ago.
I don't think we've seen the basic swamp yet.
What card was that, Andrew?
I don't know. But I don't think it's good enough.
We'll see. Batter Skull going to be suiting up here onto the Sanctifier, looks like. Atraxa and Grief cannot block, so it would be a chump with Solitude.
If you're Fumich, you want to let this activation resolve before solituding the Sanctifier. Even if it gives Hirsch a little more life, it ensures that the germ dies.
I don't even know that I Solitude. I might just chump. He's just taking it, too. That's even more chatty. Love it.
Block with the face.
Nah, he missed me. He hit me right in the face.
Yeah, it's face block. Ah, Flicker Wisp.
Yeah, target the Atraxa. Targets Witch Enchanter as a land, and it's going to come back as a creature.
Okay, you have a 2/2.
Okay, but that's still pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a cool play that the deck has access to, but it's not relevant here.
Well, it makes me think, what other giant MDFC creatures are there that we could do that with Flicker Wisp? All right. Going to go back Fumich's way. We can start with an attack for 7 to gain 7, putting us to 11. That seems reasonable. Now, Fumich, extremely far ahead, and I'm curious how he's going to navigate the next few turns. I assume they're going to go slowly, because since he knows he's ahead, he's going to need to try to squeeze every last drop out of each of his resources. We're going to start with the pending. That's going to take care of the sanctifier.
Sure.
Swing with them all.
Yeah, tackle everybody.
Get him in.
There we go. There we go. Be
13.
aggressive.
Let's go block Solitude with the Witch Enchanter. Easy mode.
Yeah, sure. You take 10, I gain 10.
Yeah.
Hirsch going to go to 15. Fumich going to go up to 14.
Old tracks. Ephemerate off the top. That with Flicker Wisp might be able to do something. Probably not. Hardcast Solitude in response to Equip. Alright, Ephemerate. My
Gotcha.
own Flicker Wisp. What are we going to do with it? Alright, going to target the Batter Skull, so it's going to come back in and make another Germ token on the end step. So I guess we have the Solitude covered on the ground. We can maybe double block the Grief and gain 4. Frog.
Plenty of cards in hand for a few minutes. Frog looking pretty good.
That's a secret Ross. Frog always look pretty good. Empty hand, pretty good draw. Full hand, that's a pretty good draw.
This match should be over in the next couple turns.
Swing for 7. Hirsch down to 8. Fumich up to 21. A year ago. No target on the Ephemerates. New rule for rebound stuff. You don't actually have to cast the rebound card. It used to be you had to cast it if there was a legal target, and you didn't have to pay the costs. We're going to move Flicker Wisp over, so we're going to swing for 7. I think we can maybe block and Ephemerate our own Attracts after blocks. We might be out also.
There's a Goryo's Vengeance in hand for a few minutes, so you could just block here, and first we'll go to 15. Use Goryo's back the Atraxa and attack for 15 with the Frog and everything else. You got to discard 1 card of Frog.
Sounds good to me.
And Hirsch has no cards left, so yeah.
All right. See if Fumich sees the line. And he does. No, he doesn't. Yes, I lied. Draw 2, discard 1. I hope he decks himself on accident. That'd be nice. Be a good way to end this match.
Gotta check the graveyard. Yeah, make sure you don't make any mistakes here against an opponent with no cards in hand. No relevant permanents. Come on, buddy.
He's counting up for Tainted Indulgence. We have to resolve the cards correctly.
It's a draw 2 at this point.
Maybe he doesn't even need the Atraxa. Can maybe just discard whole hand for Frog Death. 1, 2, 3, 4.
7-ish. Would need 8.
Alright. Doesn't see the Goryo line from grave, so we're just going to cast Atraxa. Gonna flip over the top 10. I think there's not even 10 cards left. Oh, there is. I lied.
Looks like 11 or 12.
Do we have 4 black mana to hardcast Gristlebrand? I think we do.
Yeah, I see exactly 4. Right? The Watery Grave, the Shadowy Backstreet, the Undercity Sewers, and the Godless Shrine.
Nice. Alright, so we get 1 of each card type from the Atraxa. Chat, we missed lethal. Can I get some chat lethals in chat? Chat saw it, I'm sure. Just takes 2 cards, puts the rest back. 1 is Wrath of the Skies. And now, how many do we discard to the Frog? That's 1. That's 2. 3.
Put a 3rd counter on your Frog. Here you go.
That's 4.
Now you're on the trolley.
That's 5. That's 6.
Yeah, 7, 8.
So, okay. All right.
Just-
Here we go.
Your opponent has literally nothing.
Well,
Show them 8 cards.
yeah, that's fair.